can get choked up pretty easy looking at this group. Such a privilege, such a pleasure. You know, this isn't what I see when you go to the sale barn. See a bunch of 70-year-old geezers. The biggest choice they got to make is whether the spittoon is on the right side or the left side, and which side to slide their tobacco on. But what a privilege to see such a wonderful group of what I call our best and brightest. You know, when people ask me, who are your heroes? My heroes are the people that are going to touch our earth womb and leave it more productive, more aesthetically and aromatically, sensually romantic than it's been. You know, when I was young once, and you know, I remember very well when I had the conversation with Dad. He was always out there, visionary. He and Mom bought the farm in 1961 after losing a farm in a political coup unrest in Venezuela, South America. He'd been there for 14 years. He was about 39 when he'd sunk all of his life. Didn't come from a wealthy family, so he worked for a Texas oil company to amass wealth, and in 10 years saved enough to buy a farm from a wealthy senora there, and then moved on to the farm and built a house, started selling at the local market there, the South American type markets where you had the village square and the vendors, and without refrigeration. This was in the early 50s. The vendors would come along and buy. They didn't have Walmart, supermarkets or anything, and so the banana man would come to the banana vendors and negotiate for the bananas. He'd put them on a pole and go through town and hawk his bananas. And the guy with the pineapple man, he'd negotiate with the pineapple farmers and put them on a pole, take them around. And the chicken guy would negotiate with the farmers, and he'd put the chickens on a pole and take them around and to the town, just like the ice cream truck here. And if you wanted chicken for dinner, when the chicken man came, you went out and you bought your chicken and did that. So anyway, Dad was always ready for the next new thing, and of course Venezuela was what he did, and went down and we lost the farm, and so he lost everything, that his whole life savings at about 39 or 40, and came back to the U.S. and bought this worn out, run down, cheap gully, no soil, nothing but rocks, armpit of a community farm. That's how we bought it, was because it was cheap. And I learned something from that lesson. It's interesting when you talk to Elliot Coleman. Many of you, I'm sure, know Elliot. Elliot and I have done numerous conferences together. And it seems like every every person that's really kind of made a name here in this sustainable ag business has started, John Jevons, has started on a rock pile. Alan Chadwick, out here at UC Davis. Mama. Santa Cruz. Yeah, I'm sorry, Santa Cruz. Yeah, I'm on the wrong, I don't know these places out here. But he took this hillside of rocks and brambles, right? And turned it into a place that, finally got him fired from the college when all these parents that sent their kids there, especially their daughters, to become math teachers and professionals, got calls from their daughters saying that they were following this, biodynamic Englishman around a hillside digging in the dirt, and it was so romantic they wanted to become farmers, and their parents went ballistic. But we all start with these rock piles, and it speaks to me powerfully that what we offer is landscape healing. And what this generation of young farmers is bringing to the table in a place like this is healing to the land, to the food system, to the culture. Because I'll tell you, we are into a time where young people are becoming incredibly naive and disconnected, and I would say brain damaged by severing a relationship with the earth. We had an apprentice a couple of years ago who, he was one of our brainiest apprentices. He was a software engineer for a Swiss bank in New York, and a little bit older, about 28, 29 when he came to us. And he had a meltdown one day in his Dilbert cubicle there at the bank office and said, you know, I got to do something different. So he went downstairs, he got on the computer, and he found us. He sent in a request for apprenticeship. We had him down, checked him out, we took him. And so about 3 months into this apprenticeship, he and the interns had just finished building a new portable, we call it the Millennium Feathernet. It's the portable layer rig for the chickens that are out in the netting, electric netting, moving along. And he sat down to the dinner table, and you know, he was visibly moved. I mean, and I was asking, I said, so, you know, Galen, what's the deal? What's going on? He said, well, I want to tell you something. And his lips were trembling. You know, he was just on the verge of tears. He said, I'll tell you something. I spent 3 years in New York in this high-paid, high-powered job. My team, you know, one of my team members was in London, one was in Tokyo, and one was in, you know, Seoul, South Korea. And we built these things in cyberspace on the computer screen. At the end of the day, we clocked out, punched a button, and the screen went blank, and it went to to some sort of cyber memory somewhere, maybe. And we did this every day, every day, every day. He said, today, I was with real people that I could touch, that I could talk to. And we built something that, with our hands, that I could touch. I pounded nails. I put in screws. We cut boards. We built this thing. And it wasn't just a thing. It was a thing to make lots and lots of chickens happy for a long time. You know, people talk to me about, why are you always so happy? I say, how many people get up every morning and go out and make so many beings happy? And he said, and we built this thing, and we could talk, and at the end of the day, we could actually touch each other, hug, and what we built didn't just vanish into cyberspace. It sat there, you know, this cool A-frame, scissor truss deal, and we could touch it, and it's real. And you know what? I can get up in the morning, and I'm going to walk out there, and it's still going to be sitting there. At least I hope it is. It's still going to be sitting there. And we can touch it. We can be real. And he said, for the first time in my life, I participated with real flesh and blood on a real important project with sacred callings and a ministerial function, ministering to my community with real food, the earthworms, the plants, the animals. It was all wrapped up in this thing that was real, that I can touch. And I didn't get that at the bank. I didn't get that from the computer screen. And he was so emotionally moved from this, and I realized just how virtual life has become for so many young people. And I know that some of you get family pressure, peer pressure. I know, because we take interns, and sometimes the parents, they can't figure this out. Why would somebody with a master's degree, want to come and put their hands in the dirt? Why would somebody that knows logarithms and calculus want to learn where the spleen is in a chicken?